subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Be sure to check out SRL_F1 on Instagram to keep the race. Now, next week, you'll be able to catch us at round 8, which will be the Qatar Grand Prix. Our winter special event, the bracket style racing, winner takes all. Let's get some track information up here for you. Data will get the full track map up here for everybody. And we'll see one of the kick sabbers is getting ready to roll out. And it looks like Nick Van Gelder has joined the session. Good old Nick is always late to the party. And it looks like Noel Rosa Abia was the first car out the pit, so he'll be the first one to start a hot lap. And Whippo Film, good old Whippo Film, is joining us on the live chats. And who do I got for the win? Well, it's hard to argue with Jensen Randall being today's winner. He won the race last year. He's got 5 wins on the season so far. So hard to argue against Jensen Randall. And if you're a betting man and if you want some good odds, I mean, you could always take David Rod, who's been fast this year and given Jensen a run for his money a couple times. Jerome Adamaco, who has shown that he's got some speed, but he is also battling that leg injury, so we'll see how that pans out. And Tim Ventic is still second in the point standing, so anything could happen. You could also take a shot at Sandro Dulius. Again, as we talked about in the pre-race, he crashed under the safety car here last year, fell all the way to the back of the pack, and then raced his way all the way back up to third. So a good track for Sandro. But we're going to ride along with Noel Rosa Abia as he starts his first hot lap of the session. He'll be the first driver to start a hot lap. This very tricky street track. Looks like he's got a car in front of him. Hopefully get to that car before the corner. Almost a 26 flat through the first sector, and then you've got this very tricky second sector, this mid part of the course. A lot of time lost and gained through here. Very tricky complex that they have at the top of this track. And you're back on the gas, and you get this hard left-hander coming up. And you've got this dog leg backstretch. And then again, you're going to have a very weird little bit of a left-right complex here at the end of this straightaway. Kind of tiptoes through there. Keeping it clean and tidy so far. So Noel Rosa Abia will come across the line, be the first driver to set a time, 1:31.424. Not a bad time, realistically. Pick up Jamie Jägerstrom. He's at the top part of the track, but now some of the times are going to start coming in. Pablo Paz goes 1:31.108 followed by Juan Rivas at a 131.732. Jensen Randall with a 132.0. I'm going to say Jensen probably a little bit of a track issue. Sam Brandt with a 132.072 as well. Good enough for fifth as we continue to watch Jamie Yegerstrom as he's coming down this back straightaway here in the Williams. And as we saw in real life, Williams continues to struggle with that big shunt that Franco Colapinto had during qualifying. Yegerstrom down at the end of the back straightaway here. He's got a caution flag flying in sector 1. Hopefully that's for a slow car. Looks like it might have been a quick on-off. Green flag back to racing. Jamie Yegerstrom got a caution flag flying in sector 2. Looks like that might be for one of the Ferraris. Here comes Yegerstrom across the line. That's a 131.370. Good enough for second quickest so far. Let's see if we can find. Looks like that's a Ferrari trying to get around Jamie Yegerstrom. That would be that's Sandro Dulius. He's currently on an out lap. Again, finished third here last year. Whoa, and a little bit of a squirrely moment there, it looked like. Sandro finished third here last year. He finished third last race. He's currently third in the points. So the magic number 3 is for Sandro right now. See a couple of other times. 132.067. David Rod's going 131.503. Oleski is going 131.625. And Noah Smith just came across the line with a 131 flat. So looks like 130s are going to be the magic number. Whoever runs closest to probably a 130.5, my guess. Would probably be a good pole time. And we got a slow car in sector 3. So Sandro Dulius getting ready to come across the line, start his first hot lap of the session. Right along with Sandro to turn 1. Big sweeping right here in turn 2. Down the short chute. Hard on the brakes through the right-hander, and then you've got this very weird complex here. You come up through this sweeping left-hander, and then tightens up a lot there. Left, right, left, right. Whoa, a little bit of snap oversteers. He tries to get the power back down. Looks like he's got one of the Mercedes in front of him. Hopefully he can catch it at a good point here on this back straightaway. Maybe get a little bit of a slipstream. Ooh, that was close up against the wall almost. And Jerome Adamaco, take away my 130.5 because Jerome Adamaco is just around 130.288. So are we looking at a pole time possibly in the 129s? And Sandro gets a good slipstream off of that Mercedes plus the DRS. Oh, that was close to that left-hander. Here we go, final corner. And a 136.35. That's only good enough for 10th so far. Let's see if we can pick up Jensen Randall. Jensen Randall's currently on an out lap. So he's only gone 14th quickest so far with a 132.011. It's basically a 132 flat. So he's basically got to find 2 seconds to try and get provisional pole, which has been set by Jerome Adamaco. So Jerome Adamaco, even with that leg injury and using a handbrake right now, or a handbrake control system, I should say, not an actual handbrake. He's not doing donuts or drifting. But he's gone fastest so far with a 132.88. We'll hop on board with Jensen Randall. Jensen looking very smooth and controlled right now. Oh, a little bit. I think that cost him a little bit of time. That was a little tight through there. Kind of wonky. Didn't look very good. Wasn't out of control. He just missed the radius and just slightly missed the apex of the corner, it looked like. We'll see if that affects him at all or not. Down this back straightaway. Trying to see what his sector time might be, but I didn't catch what his sector times were in 1 and 2. Runs a little wide there under braking. This might be close. I don't think it's going to be close enough, though. A 131.292. That jumps him from 14th to 5th. And Pablo Paz is going 138.17. So Pablo is now in the second quickest. We'll pick up Noel Rosa. See where he's at. Juan Rivas. Noah Smith. Oh, sorry about that. We're currently watching Noah Smith, who is off the pace, so we're going to get away from that. We'll pick up Juan Rivas. Not sure if Juan Rivas is on a hot lap or not. And looks like he's going to be diving into the pits as well. Let's pick up Dion Stahl. Dion Stahl currently 10th quickest with a 131.575. Finished 9th his last time out at Catalunya. So we get a lot of guys in the pits and a lot of guys on out laps here with 5 minutes left to play in the session. So things are going to start heating up a little bit. As time starts to wind down, the track's going to ramp up and evolve a little bit, I'm sure. Caution flag flying in Sector 2. Probably just for a slow car. Jerome Adamaco still provisional pole sitter with a 132.88. He's currently on an out lap. Going to see if he can improve his time. Dion Stahl really had that thing pegged out at the end of the straightaway. A little bit of a twitch, snap oversteer moment there for him as he tries to get the power back down. He's got one of the kick Saubers behind him. And Dion Stahl comes across the line, unfortunately does not improve his time or position. We'll pick up David Rod. That was David Rod that was behind Dion Stahl as he came across the line. David Rod currently 9th quickest. Now he's going to get the slipstream and the DRS coming down the short chute. Hopefully Dion gets out of the way. It's going to be a little close. Here comes David. And I think snap oversteer moment. And yeah, that's going to probably be looked at post-qualifying. Definitely impeded David Rod, it looked like a little bit. And looks like trying to see if he's going to try and stick with this hot lap or maybe abandon it. Looks like he's staying on the gas. Oh, and David Rod, he is out. crashed in qualifying. Oh, no. And he's going to be locked in at a 131.503. Tough break for David Rod. So we're going to go pick up Jerome Adamaco. You see where Jerome is. Where is Jensen Randall in all this? Jensen's currently on an out lap. So we're going to stick with Jerome Adamaco, and he almost has the same moment that David Rod just did. Almost crashed in the same exact spot, but he's ahead by a 10th over his previous time. But I think that corner there, as we just picked him up, might cost him a little bit. And Sandro Dulius came across the live chat saying he had a poor lap. I'm going to assume that was when he was about 10th quickest. He's now up in the 6th as far as his time goes. With a 131.259. Currently watching provisional pole sitter Jerome Adamaco, currently locked in 132.88, trying to improve his time. And he's going to abandon the lap at the last moment, dives into the pits. I don't know that he's going to have enough time to get a new set of tires on there and come back out. We'll pick up Jensen Randall, who just started an out lap. He's now coming through Sector 2. We'll try and pick up his Sector 2 time, see if he's improved at all as he comes down this dogleg straightaway. Okay, and he's not currently on a hot lap. I think he's still putting some heat in his tires. That was a tough break for David Rod. Now, Andrea Latrella, we haven't really talked about a whole lot. Just got himself into the top 10, 131.450. Tim Ventic, second in points. We haven't talked a lot about him during this qualifying session either. 131.444, currently 9th. So, 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left to play in the session. We've got some guys coming out on out laps. So it's going to be Noah Smith, Jamie Jägerstrom, Oleski, Peter Nichols, and Ivan Brito, all on out laps. Robin Herterstegen and Nick Van Gelder both in the pits. I don't think Nick's even gone out on track. And Sandro Dulius has retired from the session. I think he feels like he's not going to be able to do any better than that 131.259. So he's locked in at that. So now we're going to pick up Jensen Randall, who has started a hot lap at this point, and he is on it as we pick him up coming out of that series of turns. Kind of tiptoes it through that right-hander as we ride on board with him. Provisional pole 132.88 by Jerome Adamaco. He's currently done for the session. Pablo Paz is going 136.69. We're watching Jensen Randall, the championship points leader right now, looking to snag his 5th pole position of the season. Andrea Latrella has retired from the session. He's going to call it a day. Let's see if Jensen Randall can improve his Sector 2 time. Very sketchy through there. A lot of guys really pushing that. And Jensen Randall is almost 2/10 up over his previous time. And that would still keep him right around 131 flat, 130.9. I don't know that he's going to have enough to take that pole position unless he has a monster Sector 3. He's currently 7th quickest. Last leg of this lap, we'll see what he's got. It's going to be close. And a 139.04, good enough for 3rd quickest. Pablo Paz looks like he's done. Noah Smith's going to call it a day. And checkered flag is out. Hot laps will count. Looks like Juan Rivas is on an invalidated lap time. Pick up Jamie Jägerstrom. Oh, and he just invalidated his lap time, so he's done. We'll pick up Tim Ventic. Tim looks like he has struggled a little bit through this qualifying session. A little bit of a last-ditch effort, comes through these last little series of corners, and then he's got this dog leg straightaway. This will take him all the way to the checkers. Does he have anything to improve his position? Tim Ventic across the line, 131.092, goes from 11th to 6th. Pick up Dion Stahl. He's coming down the back straightaway now. Looks like he's going to be well off the pace. Currently 15th quickest, 131.575, and you can see just how close this field is. And he does improve his time, but not his position. And let's pick up Nick Van Gelder. Nick Van Gelder is out on track in the wrong car. I don't think that's necessarily Nick's fault. Jerome Adamaco was a reserve driver, so Nick's going to come across the line, 133.651. Your Season 4 champion puts in a lap time of 133.651, good enough for 18th position. And that is going to do it for the 18-minute short qualifying session. We're going to back that up with a 50% race. That's going to be 25 laps around this Las Vegas street course. And Sandro coming across the live feed again saying, yeah, he had a very scrappy lap again, so he's missed the setup on his car, it sounds like. Sandro currently 9th quickest. His time, when he set the time at 131.259, he was 6th quickest on the board, drops to 9th. And it looks like Jensen Randall is finally heading into the pits. So that's going to wrap this 18-minute short qualifying session. So 19 drivers in total for today's race. Good driver count, not a full grid, but hey, -1's not a big deal. So Jerome Adamaco, with that leg injury, unable to use his left leg, using his right leg on his rig for the gas. He's using a special button setup on the steering wheel configuration for braking. So he's braking, shifting, and steering, all with the steering wheel, while using his right leg to gas the car down. So that is a great qualifying effort for him, and a 132.88. You see that's almost 0.4 quicker than Pablo Paz, who comes across the line in second. Apparently, Sandro's got a little bit more information than we do, and he is saying pole while braking with his pinky finger, of all fingers, is insane. So if he is in fact using his pinky finger, that's a very strong pinky finger he's got to try and brake with. So we'll wait for the game to reset, and we will do the formation lap, run down the running order officially, and see what takes shape in this insane track around here. Now, Las Vegas, of course, the race will be run at 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time where I'm at. And then you've got this weird kind of dog-legged grid. So Jerome Adamaco is your pole sitter, followed by Pablo Paz in the Visa Cash App RB. He finished second his last time out. And championship points leader by a far margin, Jensen Randall, starting in third. He's followed by Noah Smith. Now, Noah Smith came across the line third last race, had some timing penalties assessed after, ended up being credited with a fifth. We'll see if he can maybe snatch a podium out today. Juan Rivas will be starting in the 5th position. And then second in points, Tim Ventic does manage to get 6th quickest during qualifying, but he'll be looking to have to work his way through the field, finish in front of Jensen Randall if he wants to try and take this championship points fight to him. Noel Rosa starting in the 7th spot, followed by Oleski. Oleski in the Mercedes AMG Petronas. And Sandro Dulius, you heard it on the live chat, you saw it. Couple of bad laps for him, starting in the 9th position. Can he work his way back through the field? He finished third here last year after crashing under a safety car condition. Jamie Jägerstrom is starting in the 10th spot. George Wilkes in the Aston Martin starting in 11th, followed by crowd favorite Ivan Brito. And Andrea Latrella, we didn't talk about him a whole lot, returning to the SRL, trying to go full-time this year in the Haas F1, be starting in the 13th position. David Rod, we saw crash in qualifying. He was on a hot lap when it happened. Hopefully he avoids that, starting in the 14th position. See if he can work his way through the field, get some points on the board. Dion Stahl, we saw his hot lap. He did improve his time, not his position, starting in 15th. Sam Brandt making his return to full-time racing this year in the Red Bull. Finished 10th his last time out. He'll be looking to try and put some points on the board again. Peter Nichols will be starting in the 16th position in the Aston Martin. And then we see Nick Van Gelder in the Alpine. Did not to get being put in his regular Red Bull. Already struggling under the formation lap with some braking issues. Came into qualifying late. Your Season 4 champion starting in the 18th position. Meanwhile, Robin Herderstein rounds out 19 cars for today's race, starting in 19th. So we'll wait for the game to reset. Wait for the 5 red lights. That is a long wait. Lights out. Time to run what you brung, and they're away in a puff of smoke. We'll hop on board with Jerome Adamako, but it's a great start by Pablo Paz as they go down to the first corner, and Pablo's going to try and take the lead away heading into the first corner. Gets out in front of Jerome Adamako, and Jensen Randall slips in, stays in the 3rd position. Noah Smith up to 4th, followed by Juan Rivas and Tim Ventic. Oh, and Jerome Adamako is trying to come back on Pablo Paz. Is going to take the position back. Pablo's going to try and... Oh, there's a big crash in the back. There's a big crash back here. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars involved, it looks like. 3 of them trying to do a U-turn. The virtual safety car is out. And Andrea Latrella's already got a timing penalty. It looks like he's giving a position back to Sam Brandt. In the midst of that, Jerome Adamako manages to hang on to that top position, followed by Pablo Paz, followed by Jensen Randall, followed by Noah Smith. So we're going to have a ton of cars in the back. So Nick Van Gelder, I want to try and pick up Nick's car. Did he make it through the melee, or has he got damage? Yep, he's got end plate damage on the right front part of the wing. And I'm kind of surprised we didn't get a full safety car in the midst of this. Now, no cars are officially out. So everybody was able to drive away from the pileup. Now, it says virtual safety car on timing and scoring, but I see the yellow dot on the track. I'm assuming this is going to become a full course caution with a safety car. See if he gets picked up here. And there is the safety car. So timing and scoring is a little off right this second. I hope the drivers are not seeing virtual safety car, but we got a ton of cars in the pits. Andrea Latrella, David Rod, Nick Van Gelder, Peter Nichols, Sam Brandt, Ivan Brito, all pitting. It looks like the big winner in all of that might have been Robin Herderstein, who started in the 19th position. He's now up in the 12th. So this is kind of what we ran into last year in Vegas. It was the inaugural Las Vegas Grand Prix for SRL. There was a big pileup. In fact, and then Nick Van Gelder had a huge crash with Luke Smith, the reserve driver out of Australia, where he almost flipped over. And then during that safety car, Sandro Dulius crashed under that safety car, went all the way back to last place under the pit sequence, managed to drive his way all the way back in the 3rd. So right now, Sandro is currently in the 8th position. Oh, and Peter Nichols has retired from the session. What has happened to him? Did he crash under the safety car conditions? So Peter Nichols, not a good day for him. So we've got our first DNF of the race, which happened under safety car conditions. Now, I see the timing and scoring board on the track says safety car. However, my timing and scoring still says virtual safety car. And Peter Nichols has officially left the session, so that's too bad for him. You know, realistically, that is a good shot for this game. That is incredible detail. The graphics going in the background. I'll give EA Sports a little bit of credit with that. That was a really good shot there. We continue to circulate under the safety car conditions. Now, it looks like everybody should be catching up to the safety car queue. Now, I'm hoping Once everybody catches up to the safety car queue, we'll get that notification that the safety car will come in. Timing and scoring will correct itself in the midst of everything that's going on. We'll go back to green flag racing. Looks like we're just waiting on Andrea Latrella. Or Andrea Latrella. I'm not 100% sure how you say his name, but I'm American. I usually say most of them wrong as it is. So Andrea Latrella finally catches up to the safety car queue. So safety car, we should get a notification that it'll come in this lap. So Jerome Adamaco is your leader, followed by Pablo Paz, followed by championship points leader Jensen Randall in the McLaren. He'll be running in third once we go back to green flag racing. He's followed by Noah Smith, followed by Juan Rivas, and then second in points, Tim Ventic will be in the sixth position in the Alpine. Noel Rosa Abia will be starting in seventh. Sandro Julius up into eighth. George Wilkes is ninth, and Oleski is currently 10th. Jimmy Jägerstrom 11th. Robin Herterstegen is in 12th. Dion Stahl 13th. Nick Van Gelder, your season 4 champion, is up into the 14th position. Now his official teammate, Sam Brandt, who is rocking the Red Bull, will be starting in 15th. David Rod, his day has gone from bad to worse. Crashed in qualifying. He's only up into 16th after all this melee. Ivan Brito's dropped to 17th, and Andrea Latrella, as we talked about, is in the 18th position. We started with 19 cars. Peter Nichols crashed under the safety car conditions or decided to retire under the safety car. We're not quite sure what happened. Now, the yellow flag was brought out by a massive pileup in turn 3 heading onto the short chute. That involved about 8 cars. We went to virtual safety car, and then we went to full course safety car. Now, race control has said that the safety car is coming in. So Jerome Adamaco going to become the control car. And looks like he's easily going to go back to green flag racing. Gets back on the gas, and that's a great start. Oh, there's already wing damage. Is that Jensen Randall who just has wing damage? And Jensen Randall, 10-second penalty, severe collision with Pablo Paz, and safety car comes back out. Oh my goodness. So Jensen Randall trying to make a move. And what has happened to Pablo Paz? Pablo is going, oh, he's got a flat right rear. Pablo going from second to last. So flat tire for Pablo Paz, wing damage for Jensen Randall, plus he gets a 10-second time penalty that he'll have to serve. And I believe that can only be served, that's for a severe collision. I believe that has to be served during the race. I might need some clarification on that one. So no sooner did we get going again does the second safety car come out here on lap 4. So this has been wild. I feel bad. Pablo Paz, man, he qualified good, started good, and unfortunately Jensen Randall getting a little too aggressive on that restart. And Pablo, he is going to be limping a long way around this track. Oh, you can see the damage there. Oh, and he's up against the wall. Oh, no, Pablo. Oh, and he's got a flat right front now as well. Oh, my goodness. Uh-oh, this might be it for Pablo. This might be it for Pablo Paz. He's got... Oh, yep, he's retired from the session. Pablo Paz. Unfortunately, 2 flat right side tires. That the way these cars are set up, that's almost no tire contact at all. So Pablo is done. That is unfortunate. And that is at the fault of Jensen Randall. And it looks like the safety car is going to come back in. We're going to go back to green flag racing. Jerome Adamaco is going to start this off. And Jensen Randall did not pit. And he's got right front end plate damage on his wing. That's going to cost him so much downforce. Here comes Noah Smith around the outside. Caution flag flying in Sector 1. I'm assuming that's a glitch. And Jensen Randall is holding up a whole train of cars. Look at this. They're 3 wide behind him. Here comes Tim Bentic trying to get to the inside, and he picks up a spot. A little bit of a shoulder check to Noah Smith puts him in the wall just a little bit. And Jensen Randall struggling through this section here. Sandro Dulius is retired from the session. What has happened to Sandro? And Dion Stahl is out. The 2 Ferraris are out of this session. Did they make contact with each other? And you see Sam Brandt has got wing damage as well. Now, wait a minute. We got a lot of guys dropping out of the race here. This may be a grid reset. Looks like Ivan Brito's retiring from the session, so I'm going to wait for some notification here. David Rod's retiring from the session. So looks like this race, I'll get some notification here in the live chat here in just a moment as we take a look at these guys now playing ridiculously to crash out. And looks like we are going to do a restart due to a safety car glitch according to the SRL League chat there. So I am not 100% sure. We've now got a migrating host. So I am not sure how this is going to play out just yet. I don't know what drivers, if any, will be officially retired from the restart, or if everybody will get to restart. So when Sandro retired from the race, because he is the owner of the league, he is going to be the one to set up the new lobby. So he was the first one to retire because of this scenario. And it looks like we're going to revert back to the qualifying positions to determine the new grid. So safety car glitch, unfortunately, has forced us to restart this race. We're not going to redo qualifying. The qualifying grid is set, so we shall wait for a new game invite. Now, I would like to get some clarification on Peter Nichols and Pablo Paz to see if they'll be able to rejoin the race per se. And it looks like Jerome Adamaco is the only driver left on the track at this point. He's officially crashed out from this particular. So by no means is this an official result. We can ignore this little portion of the stream. So when you guys go back to rewatch this, feel free to fast forward through this part until we get back to some green flag racing. So Ivan Brito coming on. Sounds like Ivan Brito will be happy about a little bit of a restart. So by no means is this any type of official results here, as I continue to wait for a new game invite to come across. So hopefully we'll do another formation lap. We'll try and run down the starting order before we take off. And there we have a new game invite. I will join this lobby. So unfortunately, we haven't really run into this problem yet this year, but there always does seem to be some sort of safety car glitch in each and every F1 game throughout the years. This game, I think, has been a little bit more consistent with its lack of issues per se than we've run into in years past. So We'll see if we can get this fixed here. It looks like the game is thinking. So once again, we'll run down the driver lineup. Sandro Dulius in the Scuderia Ferrari, Noel Rosa. Okay, now we've got everybody disappeared. Everybody's coming back. So we've got Ivan Brito in the Mercedes-AMG Petronas, followed by Jerome Adamaco in the Red Bull. Yeah, we've talked a couple of times now about Jerome's condition. He's unable to use his left leg. He does have a driving rig set up at his house, so he's unable to drive with his left. So he's not braking with his left. He's driving and gassing it with his right foot. Apparently, he has set up his steering wheel to brake with one of the hand buttons on the steering wheel, and he has been using his pinky to brake with. Now, apparently, I've joined the session that I was invited to, and that's not the right session. So this is going well. This is going very well. Now this is going terribly to try and get everybody back into the session. I'm not able to join. Here we go. Well, unfortunately, looks like we're having some issues with the game now. Here we go. Hopefully this is the right session. All right, looks like we are getting some guys actually able to link in. It's been a little slow. F124 possibly having server issues, hard to say. So if you're sticking with us, we certainly appreciate it. This has been a bit of a mess here with the safety car glitch that we've had. We're going to have to restart the race. We're going to skip qualifying. The grid will be determined by the qualifying that we already did do before the safety car glitch in the previous race that we tried to start. Lobby is currently being updated, but taking its sweet time doing so, and it looks like Sandra may have left this lobby as well. So, folks, just try to bear with us as we try to get this race restarted. Bit of a red flag condition, wouldn't you say? So currently trying to do round 7 of the 10th season of F1. Round 7 underway. If you're wondering what has happened, well, we did an 18-minute short qualifying session. We tried to follow that up with a 50% race. We had an opening lap crash that brought out a virtual safety car, which then turned into a full safety car. Then, unfortunately, we had a safety car glitch, and that caused another safety car when we went back to green flag conditions. Now, Peter Nichols and Pablo Paz at the time were both DNF'd. I do believe everybody will be able to rejoin. But I believe Sandro is having some issues trying to get a lobby to actually communicate with all the drivers at this point. So there's possible server issues with F124 right now in Codemasters and EA Sports. So I've been handed another invitation to play F124. We'll see if I can join that session with some success. But it won't even let me leave this one without joining another one. Joining session, please wait. We'll see how this goes. Again, we're trying to get round 7 underway. All right, I am connected in. This looks a little promising. All right, I'm set as spectator. So we started with 19 drivers. So it looks like this lobby might be a little bit of a success. So now the grid will be set by the predetermined qualifying that we did for the race that we actually tried to start before we had the safety car glitch and the lobby went crazy. So Juan Rivas in the Visa Cash App RB, Sandro Julius in the Scuderia Ferrari Noel, Rosa Abia in the Kick Sauber, Jensen Randall, championship points leader in the McLaren, Sam Brandt in the Red Bull, Jamie Jägerstrom will be rocking the Williams. Second in championship point standings, Tim Ventic will be in the Alpine, George Wilkes will be in the Aston Martin, David Rod be in the Kick Sauber, Ivan Burrito in the Mercedes AMG Petronas, Pablo Paz will be racing in the Visa Cash App RB as well. Andrea Latrella is in the Haas F1 machine. Jerome Adamaco this time will be in the Alpine. He is technically a reserve driver, which means Nick Van Gelder should be in his normal seat of the Red Bull when he does join. Noah Smith will be in the Williams. Robin Hertestegen in the Haas. Looks like Peter Nichols will be able to rejoin this race in the Aston Martin. I'm Kamikaze Fox. We have 16 of 22 drivers. We've started with 19 before we ran into the safety car glitch and lobby issues. We only got a handful of green flag racing in. Again, we started the race. It was a 50% race, which was 25 laps around the Las Vegas street course. Promptly had a crash in turn 3 heading onto the short chute. 8 cars piled up. Now, nobody had DNF'd at that point. But unfortunately, they did have a virtual safety car, which turned into a safety car, which turned into a safety car glitch, which as soon as we went back to green flag racing, the safety car came back out. And unfortunately, we were able to continue. Only had about 6 laps on the board, 5 and 3/4 of which were all under yellow flag conditions. So again, this is round 7. If you want to recap a little bit of the season, we can go back to round 1 at Austria. Australia, where we kicked off the season. David Rod picking up the first pole position and first win of the year. Jamie Jägerstrom picked up a podium, and Sandro Dulius was third. Tim Ventic was fourth, and Jensen Randall was fifth. That was the kick off the first season, or the first race of the season. Round 2 was in Bahrain. David Rod picking up another pole position. So David Rod with 2 pole positions on the season. But that race was promptly won by Jensen Randall. Tim Ventic came home second. David Rod was third that race. Jamie Jägerstrom was fourth, and Oleski was fifth. Round 3 at Imola. This is when Jensen Randall picked up his first pole position of the season and has not let anybody else get a pole position since. Jensen Randall, Tim Ventic, and Sandro Dulius were your top 3. David Rod was 5th. Moving on to COTA, we had one of the best races of the season so far. Jensen Randall picked up his second pole position in a row, followed up with his third win in a row, but Jerome Adamako came onto the scene, gave Jensen Randall a run for his money. It was a drag race to the finish. Jerome Adamako came home second, followed by Tim Ventic, who picked up his third podium position of the season, which is why he is second in points. Round 5, Austria, again, a race to the finish for sure. Jensen Randall with his 4th win of the season. Tim Ventic with his 4th podium finish of the season. David Rod with his 3rd podium finish of the season. And we are waiting for, I believe, 1 or 2 more people to join. See, Juan Rivas has come on. Now, last week we had round 6, which was Spain. Jensen Randall, again, 4th pole position in a row. 4th one of the season. He picked up his 5th win in a row. Pablo Paz, who we've talked about a lot, finished second that race. Sandro Dulius picking up his 3rd podium of the year, followed by Oleski, Noah Smith, rounding out your top 5. Noel Rosabia was 6th. Tim Ventic was 7th. Juan Rivas was 8th. Deion Stahl was 9th. Sam Brandt was 10th. David Rod, who started off this season very strong, unfortunately had a DNF, and that was his 2nd DNF in the last 3 races. It looks like we're finally getting ready to start this race. I'm hoping this goes off okay. Going to run down the championship point standings. Jensen Randall is your championship points leader. He has 136 points to his credit. Your second closest driver is Tim Ventic in the point standings. Only 87 points compared to Jensen Randall's 136. Sandro Dulius is 3rd in points with 73. David Rod, who had a great start to the season, but he struggled the last few races, 4th in points at 66. And then you've got a big gap down to 5th, which is shared with Oleski and Noah Smith, 36 points apiece. Jamie Jägerstrom has 30 points to his credit. Noel Rosa Abia, 24 points. He shares that with Vincenzo Torri, who's not in the race today. And Jerome Adamako, who we've talked a lot about, 19 points. That rounds out your top 10 in the championship point standings. And this could be a big day for Noel Rosa Abia, who shares 24 points with Vincenzo Torri. Vincenzo not racing today. And Jerome Adamako, again, we've talked about his leg injury a couple of times. So we'll see how that pans out through the course of this race. And we see Pablo Paz has left the session, so this is not a good start to this new lobby. So SRL. Admins have come on, say, here we go again. So I don't know if that means here we go again with we're going to race again, or here we go again with another broken lobby. So here we go with a formation lap. Jerome Adamako, your pole sitter. He is now in the Alpine, followed by Pablo Paz. It said he left the session. I hope he is back in the car. Jensen Randall starting in 3rd. Noah Smith is 4th. Juan Rivas is going to be starting in 5th. Tim Ventic is 6th. Noel Rosa Abia is 7th. Oleski is 8th. Sandro Dulius is starting in the 9th position. Jamie Jägerstrom is starting in 10th. Pablo Paz has rejoined the session, so he should be able to start this race with no issues. George Wilkes is going to be starting in 11th in the Aston Martin. Got Ivan Brito in the Mercedes-AMG Petronas in 12th. Andrea Leotrella is in the Haas F1 machine. David Rod, who actually did crash in qualifying on a hot lap, will be starting in the 14th position. Dion Stahl is in the Ferrari in 15th. Sam Brandt will be in the 16th position. Peter Nichols, who will be starting 17th in the Aston Martin. And Nick Van Gelder in his regular livery now, be starting in the 18th position in the Red Bull. And then Robin Hertestegen is going to be rounding out our 19 drivers for today's race, starting in 19th. And hopefully we don't run into any more safety car issues. I know it's been a long wait. I've tried to keep everybody informed as much as possible. So thank you if you've stayed with us this long. Thank you if you fast forwarded through this after the live stream. This is where the action hopefully picks up. So if you're just joining us, we're getting ready to do a 25-lap, 50% race. As we see, Jerome Adamaco just ran over the pylon for that corner there. So doing the formation lap, getting ready to start this 50% race. We had a lobby glitch. We had a safety car glitch. We've had to restart this. So hopefully no more issues as we try to get underway for what is supposed to be round 7 of this 10th anniversary season for SRL. The Sandro Racing League. So we'll wait for the cars to set on the grid. We'll wait for the 5 red lights. Hopefully be underway with little to no issues. DRS is disabled, obviously. Thank you, race control. We'll wait for the 5 red lights. Lights out. Time to run what you brung. They're away in a puff of smoke. And again, it's a good start by Pablo Baz as he gets to the inside of Jerome Adamaco into turn 1. He's going to try and take that Adamaco around the outside. Everybody's trying to tiptoe their way around. Adamaco is going to take the position back. Pablo Paz runs very wide coming out of that corner, and it's a drag race. And here comes Jensen Randall trying to squeeze in there, and that's going to be very tight heading into this corner. Oh, and it looked like a little bit of contact with the wall for Jerome Adamaco as he went into that corner. And there's another Alpine. That's Tim Ventic, who just had a little bit of problems there. Caution flag is flying back. Looks like Ivan Brito may have had an issue. Saw the safety car yellow flag flash on the screen, but it is gone. And Jerome Adamaco now trying to separate himself from championship points leader Jensen Randall. That is going to be hard to do under these conditions. Now, Jensen struggled a little bit through the second sector in qualifying. We'll see if this is where Jerome Adamaco can separate himself a little bit. Pablo Baz has fallen back into the third, and Noah Smith is closing in on him as they come down this back straightaway. Noah Smith trying to use the slipstream to get around him for the third spot. And here comes Juan Rivas. And Noah Smith and Juan Rivas up into third and fourth. Pablo Paz drops to fifth. And here comes Tim Ventic. And he's going to try and get to the inside. They make contact with each other. A little bit of a shoulder check. Pablo Paz is now falling back into the 6th position. And Pablo is diving into the pits. It looks like he might have some wing damage, possibly a tire going down with all that contact that was made. Meanwhile, back at the front, Jerome Adamaco out in front of Jensen Randall. The DRS is enabled at this point, so Jerome Adamaco is going to be a sitting duck. Coming down the short chute, Jensen Randall looking to make a move. Ooh, and there's some contact there. Looks like somebody might have lost a little bit of a wing. I'm not sure if that was Juan Rivas or Tim Ventic. And we've got a caution flag flying in Sector 2. Looks like that might be for Andrea Latrella. Oh, and Andrea Latrella is dropped back to 18th. Looks like he's got a flat left front tire. It's too bad for him. Jamie Jägerstrom battling it out with Tim Ventic. Caution flag flying Sector 2. Oh, and look at this mess we got going on here. what is this? This is Jamie Jägerstrom. Oh, I can't even tell what's going on. There's so much going on the track here. Oh, and this is the two Saubers. This is David Rod. David Rod in the 8th position, trying to move up on his teammate. Sandro Julius running in 6th, trying to stay out of trouble. Jamie Jägerstrom looks like he might be holding up some of these cars. Sandro trying to go around the outside. Are they going to try and split him as they head into turn 1? No. But Noel Rosa trying to get to the inside of Sandro for that 6th position. Meanwhile, Tim Ventic has had to head into the pits. He's had contact with the wall and some other cars. He's dropped back to the 17th position. Oh, and Jamie Jägerstrom, a little bit of a oversteer coming out of that corner as he tries to get the power down. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall is falling back into the clutches of Noah Smith. Jerome Adamako has managed to get a 1.3 second gap over Jensen Randall. Noah Smith is now in the DRS range as we continue to watch this battle as I try to keep up with everything that's going on track. So this is Jamie Jägerstrom. This is Jamie Jägerstrom in the Williams in the 5th position, followed by Sandro Julius in the Ferrari, and then the 2 kick Saubers. That's Noel Rosa Abia running in the 7th position, David Rod running in 8th. Jägerstrom now getting swallowed up by the Ferrari of Sandro Julius, and here comes Noel to the inside. Looks like he might lose 2 positions coming down this long back straightaway. Oh, and Jägerstrom manages to hang on to that position. And this has allowed Oleski to catch up to this battle. Oleski on the hard tires. And now David Rod trying to get to the inside of his teammate. He is going to be able to take him over. David Rod moves up into the 7th position. Sandro Julius up to 5th. Looks like Robin Herterstegen and Ivan Burrito are battling it out in the back for the 15th position as we continue to watch this battle unfold. DRS slots open on these guys. David Rod down the short chute, thought about trying to make a move. He's over that curb. Big snap oversteer moment there. David Rod almost putting it in the wall. Meanwhile, Jägerstrom, when you look back at how close David Rod is to Jamie Jägerstrom, Jamie trying to find a way around Sandro Julius. Sandro can't separate himself even though he's moved up into 5th. Meanwhile, Juan Rivas is falling into the clutches of what is going to be this battle here. He's only 2.5 seconds ahead. You see the Ferrari's just poking his head out. And now David Rod going to try and find a way around Jamie Jägerstrom for the 6th position. They go side by side. It's a drag race down the straightaway. The DRS is going to be enabled. And David Rod's going to try and bring his teammate with him, but slides into the hole. Goes Jamie Jägerstrom to hold off that charge from Noel Rosa. And Oleski has officially caught this battle. This is now a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 car battle for the 5th position, essentially. And you see these guys are catching Juan Rivas. And David Rod is on a tear. He's going to try and get to the inside of Sandro Julius. I thought about it, couldn't quite get there. David Rod just ran past this 3rd sector. And Juan Rivas, I don't know if Juan's got an issue with his car or not. He has a 2.5 second gap over Sandro Julius, which has now fallen down to 1.9. Got a 3-car battle going on in the back. George Wilkes, Sam Brandt, and Peter Nichols battling it out for the 10th position. And Tim Ventic is making another pit stop. Oh, and it's a 10-second penalty speeding in the pit lane. That's going to be an in-game penalty. He's got to serve that. So Tim Ventic's day has gone from bad to worse in a time where he definitely needs to finish in front of Jensen Randall. Jensen Randall currently running in the 3rd position. We're going to pick him up, though, because he is battling it out with Noah Smith. I think Noah might have just gotten around him. And Jensen Randall's going to try and take that position back. And to the inside. Meanwhile, Jerome Adamako has pulled out a 4-second gap over this battle for 2nd place. Meanwhile, David Rod has just swooped around Sandro Julius for the 5th position. And Jamie Jägerstrom thought about making it a 2-for-1. Couldn't make it work. He slides back in line from Sandro Julius. Meanwhile, Oleski and Noel Rosa Abia are battling side by side, and Oleski is going to move up into the 8th position. And that drops Noel to 9th. Meanwhile, Jägerstrom getting around Sandro Dulius. So Sandro was 5th a lap ago. He's now dropped back into the 7th position. Caution flag flying. Looks like that might be for Dion Stahl. Looks like he's had an off. It looks like he's managed to keep it out of the wall, but he lost a couple of positions in that exchange. Meanwhile, David Rod has now caught the back of Juan Rivas. So Juan Rivas has been struggling. Juan Rivas is falling back into the clutches of this 5-car battle. David Rod now, through these long sweeping S's, going to be able to stay in the tire tracks. A little bit of a slipstream. Closes up under braking. Now this is the corner where David Rod crashed out during qualifying. Destroyed the right front of the car. Down the dog leg, back straight away. He'll get the DRS advantage. Should be easily able to make this move. He's going to make the move before he even gets the DRS. So David Rod up into 4th over Juan Rivas. Meanwhile, Sandro trying to hold on to the 6th position. Good Lord, that was Jamie Jägerstrom. Blew that corner. Oh, and there's contact. Oh, and that's Noel and Oleski who crashed into each other. Luckily, they didn't take each other out, but that's going to cost them a couple of positions. Noel immediately hitting the pit lane. We'll see if Oleski does the same. Oleski stays out. Does he have any? Whoa, and Sam Brandt almost loses the back end of the car. So Sam, he's got left front wing damage. Noel Rosa Abia has retired, or he's left the session at least. My mistake. I thought Sam had wing damage, but it doesn't look like he does. Must have been a bad angle that I saw. So Sam Brandt falls back into 11th. George Wilkes is in 10th with his teammate, Peter Nichols. So they're fighting it out for the 9th position. Meanwhile, Noah Smith still battling it out with Jensen Randall for the 2nd position. These guys are 5.2 seconds behind Jerome Adamaco, who is leading the race. David Rod riding all by himself, 5 seconds behind that battle. He's got a 1.2 second gap over Juan Rivas. Juan's been falling back and into the clutches of this, what was a 6-car battle, but has now settled down a little bit. So you've got Juan Rivas in 5th, followed by Sandro Dulius, followed by Jamie Jägerstrom. Now, Oleski had contact with Noel Rosa. We'll see if Oleski's got any damage done to his car. And it looks like Oleski does have some left front wing damage. As we see, Juan Rivas loses another position, this time to Sandro Dulius. Sandro up into 5th. So I don't know if Juan's got some floor damage to his car, or what's going on with Juan if he burnt the tires up that quick. Meanwhile, Sam Brandt battling it out with George Wilkes. Oh, and there's more contact there, and that's definitely damage that time. We just picked this battle up. These guys have been racing really hard for this position here. This is 9th, 10th, and 11th, battling it out. The 2 Aston Martins against 1 Red Bull. Oh, and look at this, a tight line around the inside. George Wilkes trying to make something happen here. Sam Brandt tries to hang on to that position. These guys are going to have the DRS advantage over Peter Nickel. Nickel's going to try and squeeze him to the wall, but Sam Brandt's going to manage to get out in front of him. So now it's Sam Brandt is up into 9th. A little bit of a twitch there from Sam Brandt as he goes into that corner. Very tricky midsection here, this middle sector, and it looks like George Wilkes is going to let Peter Nickel go by. I'm sorry, it's the other way around. Peter Nickel is going to let George Wilkes go by as Sam Brandt tries to separate himself from these 2 Aston Martins in. Oh, that's a big lockup for Peter Nickel. You see he's got no end plates on his car. Just the front part of the wing looks like a shovel. So he's got no end plates. He's lost a massive amount of downforce. Ivan Brito manages to get by in that exchange. So Sam Brandt now battling it out with George Wilkes for the 9th position. Meanwhile, if we go back to this battle here, 5th. This is 5th, 6th, and 7th. You can throw a blanket over these 3 cars. Sandro Dulius trying to hang on. Jamie Jägerstrom looking to make a move. And Peter Nichols is going to pick up a 3-second timing penalty. And that is probably due to the fact that he can't hardly turn that car. It's lost a massive amount of downforce. He's definitely going to have to pit this time by. Dion Stahl's going to end up getting by him for the 12th position as we continue to watch Jamie Jägerstrom looking to make a move on Sandro Julius. Oh, and look at this Juan Rivas from a really far way back. Thought about making a move. So Sandro running in 5th, trying to hold off the hard-charging Jamie Jägerstrom, and Juan Rivas, who was running in the top 3, has fallen back into this battle. We see David Rod has separated himself from this battle. David Rod now trying to catch up to Noah Smith. Now the gap from David Rod to Noah Smith was 5 seconds a couple laps ago. It's now down to 4.2. Noah Smith has lost touch with Jensen Randall. He is 2.3 seconds behind. Jensen Randall is 6.2 seconds behind your race leader, Jerome Adamaco, out in front in the Alpine. But it's been the mid-pack battle that we've been talking about. This was a 5-car battle a few laps ago. So working lap 9 of 25. We've got all 19 cars still with us. So we see Jägerstrom thinking about making a move. Holds off. Now, I don't know how sensitive this game is to floor damage, but I'm seeing a lot of bits and pieces fly off of these cars over some of these curves as we ride on board and to the inside. Goes Jamie Jägerstrom. Sandra trying to hang tough on the outside, and a little bit of an oversteer moment there. And they touch wheels just a little bit. A little bit of argy-bargy through there, and we see Sam Brandt is up into 8th. What's going on back here? Ivan Brito managed to get around David Rod. And Noel Rosa Abia has rejoined the session, so I guess Noel's car has gone AI for a little while. He is back in the 17th position. David Rod has now fallen back into 10th. We see George Wilkes is in the pits. Ivan Brito's 9th, Sam Brandt 8th. We see Jamie Jägerstrom has gotten out in front of Sandro Julius now. About a half-second gap back to Sandro in the Ferrari. Behind him is Juan Rivas in the Visa Cash App RB. What a stupid name for a race team. These guys have settled down for just a moment. Got a car length in between each guy. Sandro now is going to have the slipstream and the DRS, looking to make a move. Gets to the inside of Jamie Jägerstrom. He's going to take that 5th position back, which is now the 4th position. Let's see if we can get some. Jensen Randall's in the pits. These guys side by side once again coming through the turn 1 complex. The dog leg straightaway starting grid. A little bit of an oversteer moment again for Jamie Jägerstrom. This is almost a carbon copy of what they did last lap. So Jägerstrom manages to get around the outside of Sandro Julius. Sandro gets a good run coming out of that corner. He's got the DRS, slides to the inside. And Juan Rivas trying to come with him. Oh, man, that is some tight racing. A little bit of a snap oversteer moment for Sandro Julius. And here comes Jamie Jägerstrom. He thought about making a move. That was a weird place to try and make it happen. Snap oversteer moment for Jamie Jägerstrom. Got a lot going on here in this 3-car battle that we've been watching now for a number of laps. There's a lot of other separation on the rest of this track right now, but working lap 11 of 25. These guys haven't been able to get away from each other. Sandro now up into the 3rd position. Jamie Jägerstrom is 4th. Juan Rivas in 5th. You see Sandro now starting to separate himself. Jägerstrom, though, he's going to have the DRS advantage. Can he close that gap to Sandro? Not going to be close enough this time by. Sandro was able to gap them enough. You see Jensen Randall's making a move in the back. And these guys are going to come to the pits now. Jensen Randall just got around Oleski for the 6th position. Jensen Randall's already made his pit, so this is going to cycle him back up towards the front. So Jensen Randall trying to undercut. Oh, race control. 10-second time penalty for Dion Stahl speeding into the pit lane. Jensen Randall trying to undercut what is going to be Jerome Adamaco. Jerome is your race leader. So I don't know that Jerome... He'll definitely lose the lead when he comes into the pits for sure. Jensen Randall will be able to one taking it over. Jamie Yegerstrom still yet to pit. So let's see if we can get that information up for everybody. You see who's got one stop and no stops. Yegerstrom and Oleski have yet to stop. Jerome Adamaco did apparently stop. I must have missed that part. So Adamaco has stopped. So really, when this cycles back through, Jensen Randall will find himself back in second place again behind Jerome Adamaco. And we talked about Jerome a lot this race, and in qualifying, he's got a leg injury. So if anybody's familiar with driving on F1 rigs and steering wheel setups for the PlayStation platform, Jerome Adamaco has got an injury to his left leg. He's unable to use his left leg right now because of surgery. Unfortunately, he's not able to brake. So what he's got going on, he has set up his car and the settings on the steering wheel and the pedals. He's gassing the car with his right leg, obviously. Shifting, steering, and braking with hand controls on the steering wheel. He's actually using his pinky to brake the car on one of the buttons on the steering wheel. So quite an interesting setup. He's managed to make it work, though. Now, he raced last week on just the pad and unfortunately had a DNF. But out today with the injury, looking good out front. 6.5 seconds out in front of Jensen Randall, who is your championship points leader. Oleski has managed to work his way up into the third position. He's got wing damage on the left front part of his wing. David Rod, who's up into fourth now, with Noah Smith riding in fifth position. Meanwhile, this three-car battle, even though some of these guys have pitted, these guys can't separate each other. This is Juan Rivas in the sixth position, followed by Jamie Yegerstrom in the Williams in seventh, followed by Sandro Dulius in the Ferrari in eighth. Now, Pablo Paz, who started this race in the second spot, had to pit early because of contact. He's managed to work his way back up into the eighth position. Sam Brandt, who's been fighting hard all race with the two Aston Martins, has still managed to stay in 10th. One of those Aston Martins was Peter Nichols. He had a penalty assessed to him, so now it's a three-car battle for the 1 point remaining on the board. That's followed by George Wilkes in the Aston Martin and Ivan Brito running in the 12th position. So a lot going on track as I try to pick up everything that's going on. Looks like David Rod has just gotten around Oleski, and Oleski's going to lose another position to Jamie Yegerstrom. Now, Oleski's car has got wing damage, so he's lost all that downforce through the middle sector. Meanwhile, the battle going on back here. This is Jamie Yegerstrom and Sandro Dulius. It looks like Sandro's gotten around Juan Rivas for the 7th position. Meanwhile, Oleski just lost 2 positions in a lap. He is down into the 5th spot. Ivan Brito has gotten around George Wilkes and Sam Brandt for the 10th position, so he's gone from 10th to 12th now. A 2-for-1 deal on that last lap. Meanwhile, George Wilkes is trying to come back in that Aston Martin, take the position back. And he's going to try and get to the inside. They're side-by-side down the short straightaway here. They're still side-by-side through the corner. Sam Brandt gets a good run through the middle part of that corner, trying to get that power down as these guys go side-by-side. Great wheel-to-wheel action. Peter Nichols, I'm sorry, that's Noah Smith, just picked up a 3-second timing penalty. Meanwhile, Sam Brandt trying to get to the inside of George Wilkes. He's going to take the 11th position from him. As we hop on board with him, he's now sandwiched in the middle of these guys. Ooh, and Sam Brandt to the very, very inside, trying to make a move, and he gets it done. That is not a great place to make that pass. Scuffed the left part of the car against the wall, got to the inside. And great racing from Sam Brandt. He finished 10th last week, and now Sandro Dulius looking to make a move on Jamie Yegerstrom, and he did. He gets around him, just ran past him to pick up the 6th position. Jerome Adamaco just ran the fastest lap of this race here on lap 15 of 25. And Oleski is finally heading into the pits. Finally going to get a new wing put on there. Get a fresh set of tires. Peter Nichols picks up another 3-second timing penalty. So Pablo Paz picks up the 8th position. Meanwhile, Sam Brandt, Ivan Brito, and George Wilkes. This has now become the battle for the 9th position after Oleski had to make his pit stop. But Oleski is going to be hard charging with a new wing and a fresh set of tires. 10 laps to go in this race. Looks like Tim Ventic has lost a position to Andrea Latrella. Tim Ventic making another pit stop. This day has not been a good day. And take a quick note here. Here's your Season 4 champion in the Red Bull running in the 18th position, followed by the Season 5 champion running in the 19th position. Not a good day for former champions. We'll take a look at the pit detail here. And you see, this is Tim Ventic's 3rd stop of this race. Meanwhile, Jerome Adamaco just ran the fastest lap of this race. Again, he is out in front to the tune of 9 seconds over Jenson Randall and McLaren. David Rod is running in 3rd. He's followed closely by Noah Smith. Noah Smith has a timing penalty hanging over his head, so that position will be inconsequential at this point. This is where most of the action has been, is 10th. I'm sorry, not 10th. The 5th position. He's 10 seconds behind Noah Smith, but he has got Jamie Yeagerstrom breathing down his neck. Juan Rivas was a part of this battle for a long time. He's fallen off a bit. Pablo Baz running quietly in the 8th position. Meanwhile, these 3 cars here, 9th, 10th, and 11th, haven't been able to get away from each other. This is Sam Brandt in the Red Bull, followed by Ivan Brito in the Mercedes-AMG Petronas, and George Wilkes in the Aston Martin running in 11th. This 3-car battle is about to become a 4-car battle, as these guys look like they're catching Pablo Paz in the 8th position. And again, Oleski, the Finnish driver, in 12th. He's got a fresh set of mediums, and he's got a new wing. He's going to be coming hard charging as we hop on board with George Wilkes, and he gets pushed to the outside just a little bit. Might have made a little bit of contact with the wall on the right side. You ride on board with him as he's behind Ivan Brito. Meanwhile, Jamie Yeagerstrom just got around Sandro Julius for the 5th position. We'll go back to Sam Brandt. Now, Sam Brandt is now within DRS range of Pablo Paz for that 8th position, and he is bringing 2 friends along with him. You see Ivan Brito duck out. He's going to try and make a move on Sam Brandt. He's got the DRS advantage. And look at Sam Brandt and Ivan Brito. They both get around Pablo Paz for that 8th position. Ivan Brito, the big winner in that, able to separate himself from Sam Brandt, and 2 positions lost in 1 lap. That is a bad 2-for-1 deal. That is a 2-for-1 deal. In the wrong direction, there's contact between Pablo and George Wilkes. And here comes Oleski. Oleski has now joined this party. It is now 5-car battle for 1 position. George Wilkes side by side with Pablo. Pablo loses another position. He's gone from 8th to 11th in the matter of 3/4 of a lap. And Oleski's going to be looking to get to the inside of him. Meanwhile, Ivan Brito out in 8th, trying to separate himself from Sam Brandt in the Red Bull. Unbelievable racing and battling going on here in the back of this points battle here. These guys are racing like it's for a win, but it's only for a couple of points. Never give up, never surrender. So Pablo, the big loser in all that, was running 8th at one point. He's now fallen back to the 11th position. And Oleski is looking to get around all of these guys. He's got the fresher tires. He's got a brand new wing. Big move to the inside over Pablo. DRS is going to be able to easily make that move. And Oleski looks like he thought about it. He thought about trying to get a 2-for-1 deal. Oh, and look at this. George Wilkes ran wide through there. Pablo picks up a 3-second timing penalty, so that's going to add insult to injuries. He's lost all those positions, now down in the 12th. Meanwhile, Oleski trying to get to the inside of George Wilkes. This is for the 10th position. Trying to get a point on the board. Working lap 18 of 25. And they've both got DRS. Oleski tries to pull out, almost made contact with him. It's a drag race down the short chute. And Oleski's going to be able to make that move, outbrake him, and get into the corner. Oh, and there's contact there. That's Pablo, who just made contact with the wall. Broke the left front end plate off the wing, so that's adding more insult to injury. Pablo, after having such a good run last week, finishing second in Spain, is started second in this race, and it's just gone from bad to worse to worse to worse. Now this is Ivan Brito, Sam Brandt in the Red Bull. Ivan Brito behind him in the Mercedes. And Oleski coming with him. We've got a caution flag flying in Sector 2, and looks like that is Pablo Baz. Pablo has... Oh my goodness, Pablo's car is in the middle of the track. And we've got a full safety car because of this. Now, I don't know if Pablo... I would like to think if he wanted to retire from this race, he would have made it away back around to the pit lane and retired in the pit lane. So I don't know if he had an issue and actually hit the wall. So hopefully this does not cause a safety car glitch like it did yesterday, like it did when we tried to kick off this race earlier. And now the question is, we're definitely going to have some pit stops now. Watching Jerome Adamaco. So full course caution, what has been a very entertaining race once we finally got it underway. So Jerome Adamaco, technically not a full-time driver this year. Started as a reserve, had a really good result earlier in the season back at COTA, Circuit of the Americas. It looks like he is going to dive into the pits. So here comes Jerome Adamaco. Again, we talked about his leg injury. He's using his left pinky to brake, I believe it's the pinky on his left hand that he's using. But braking with his pinky, driving with his right leg. His left leg is casted up because of a surgery that he had to have. So Jensen Randall dives into the pits as well. This is not what Jerome Adamaco wanted to see because he had a 9-second gap over these guys. And David Rod stays out. So David Rod will be starting in the 3rd position. Noah Smith has a timing penalty hanging over his head. Sandro Dulius, 5th. Sam Brandt. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of takers. I mean, I guess a lot of these mid-pack guys don't want to pit. Dion Stall's into the pits, and another 3-second timing penalty for Peter Nichols. So we're going to see how this all shakes up. So here's the safety car. So Jerome Adamaco has picked up the safety car along with Jensen Randall, David Rod, Noah Smith, and Sandro Dulius. So, you know, working lap 20 of 25. Once everybody gets caught up to the safety car queue, we're looking possibly at a 3-lap shootout to determine the winner of this race. Now, Jerome Adamaco had a 9-second lead before Pablo Paz wrecked his car. Jensen Randall is your championship points leader by a far margin over Tim Bentic. And Tim Bentic has just had a absolutely horrendous day. Currently running in the 18th. David Rod, but Adamako now trying to get back in front of David Rod. He swings to the outside, and it's going to be David Rod's going to take the win of this race. Noah. Last series of out in qualifying through the field. So what an event we've had today. Now, if you've stuck with us through this whole live stream, we certainly appreciate it. We know we had some issues at the beginning of this race with the safety car glitch. Then we had lobby issues trying to get this race underway for a second time. But if you stuck around, you've watched a heck of a race unfold here in round 7, season 10 of SRL. We'll go over the unofficial results here in just a moment for today's race. So unofficially, David Rod is your winner. He is followed by Jerome Adamako in the Alpine. Jensen Randall credited with 3rd. Juan Rivas is 4th. Noah Smith is 5th. Jamie Jagerstrom 6th. Aleski is 7th. Tim Ventic is 8th. Sam Brandt is 9th. Ivan Brito is 10th. Dion Stahl was credited with 11th. Noel Rosa Abia is 12th. George Wilkes 13th. Sandro Dulius, an abysmal third part of this race, drops him to 14th. Nick Van Gelder is 15th. Andrea Latrella 16th. Robin Herderstagen is 17th. Peter Nichols is 19th. And then Pablo Paz is